Hi, my name is Mr. Flanagan, and I'll be your instructor this semester for SPED 6214, which is Applied Research and Secondary Transition Practices. This is a class orientation video. We're going to take some time in this video to talk about our course goals, learning objectives, the assignments you'll be expected to complete, the class Google Drive, which is an additional space in conjunction with Blackboard. We'll be doing some of our work this semester. The Action Research Organizer, which is within that space. Important housekeeping such as gradings programs that are required in order to do some of your assignments. And then we'll finish off this video with a review of the weekly schedule, and we'll talk about some due dates that are going to happen across this semester. So the big question is, what are we doing this semester? Well, this course is designed for you to learn the steps and procedures associated with applied research and secondary transition. And you're going to do this by designing and implementing your own applied research study with a site that can either be your current place of work or another location that supports young people with disabilities to achieve their goals for adult life. The entire semester, so our content, learning objectives, learning activities, and our assignments are directly related to your research study. So you'll find that over the course of this semester, each assignment will be a part of your study, and as you complete it, you'll move one step closer to completing your study. And your site can be a school, a program, an agency, a provider, or a community organization. And we're going to do this by following a step-by-step 6-part method that will learn each part of that throughout the semester and then implement it. And each week you're going to have a video lecture, a PowerPoint, tutorials, readings, and other content that'll help you to unpack each step. You're going to learn specific skills and then be asked to apply those skills in your study. So each student is going to have an applied research organizer, which we call the Action Research Organizer, and that's a comprehensive document that I've created for you. It's a graphic organizer that follows each of these 6 steps for you with prompts and directions and guides and examples. So as you're going along, after you read the course content and engage with the course videos and PowerPoints and other materials that I provide for you, you'll be working in that organizer to apply what you've learned towards your study. Our primary goal this semester is for you to learn how to apply research methods to conduct and evaluate secondary transition practices. Over the course of the semester, you'll build understanding of the components of the action research method. We'll really do this during the first couple weeks of the course, and then we'll move on to some core applied skills such as identifying problem in practice, designing research questions, identifying a sample, creating a data collection tool, analyzing research findings, developing data-driven recommendations, and disseminating your findings, which in this course will be done through a transition action brief. So this semester we're going to have 2 primary ongoing assignments. The first is called Coffee Talk, and this is a conversation that will occur within your Action Research Organizers in our Google Drive between you and your other classmates. The goal is for you to have interactions where you gain experience in thinking like a member of a research-savvy team. You'll have opportunities to support the research activities of your peers, and this will also help you to better design and implement your own study. As a full-time researcher in the field, I can attest to just how great it can be to look at other people's work when you're stuck. So, in order to complete this Coffee Talk, you'll need to have each part of the applied research portfolio, that Action Research Organizer, completed on time by Sunday at midnight. It's not possible to give feedback and get feedback if you don't have that completed. So you're expected to leave 2 constructive and thoughtful comments, suggestions, or reflections on the Action Research Organizers of 2 of your peers in the class each time we have a Coffee Talk. So each of those 7 times. And if we look at the course schedule, which we'll do in a little bit later in this video, you'll see that Coffee Talk doesn't happen every week. It's on select weeks. The second component of this assignment is that you're expected to thoughtfully respond to the comments that are provided to you by your peers. So you're going to leave 2 comments and then respond to the 2 comments that you get. If you open up your syllabus to page 5, you'll see a complete and comprehensive description of the second assignment for this semester, which is your applied research portfolio. This portfolio is going to happen in 2 spaces. First and primarily, it's going to happen in your Action Research Organizer within our Google Drive for this class. And the parts that will happen in that are your practice vignette, statement of need, and research question, which is the first sub-assignment, your literature analysis, your program evaluation tool blueprint, which is where you're developing your questions, your analysis of results, and your recommendations to improve practice. So here we have the online Google Drive space that we'll be using in conjunction with Blackboard throughout the course of this semester. Each student has their own folder, and these are shared with each other so you're able to work on your coffee talk together, and there's a course example folder. Each one of your folders has your action research organizer in it already, which I've uploaded for you. And this is also the space where you'll be uploading your transition action briefs at the end of the semester. You'll also be putting your data and other artifacts of your research study throughout this semester within this space. In order to open this document, you're going to want to right-click and then click on Google Docs, and the document will open. And you can see here there are descriptions and directions. And those descriptions and directions align directly to what's in the syllabus already. And just as a reminder, we also have a course examples folder. And in this course examples folder, we have some content related to activities we'll be doing later on in the semester. So you'll see some example data that's been analyzed and a video. We don't have to worry about that yet. We also have a folder full of transition action briefs, and we have a sample survey that you can download. I wouldn't worry about downloading the survey or looking at any of the data at this time. But what you can do is take a look at the transition action briefs, and we have one here from each of the previous semesters. You can kind of get a look of what our work is going to end up with and what we're going towards. So here we have the action research organizer. This is where the bulk of the action is going to happen throughout this semester. You'll see here, as I mentioned before, that there are directions and examples, prompts, and guidance that directly model what's already in the syllabus on that first page there. And as we scroll through, we'll see that it goes section by section, sub-assignment by sub-assignment. So each of those sub-assignments that we have their own section. And for section 2.1, we have those 3 additional little mini activities that happen within that sub-assignment. So that's your practice vignette, your statement of need, and your research question. You'll notice that each section of the organizer has a description and then some guiding prompts and directions for you. Same thing with the statement of need there, so description and requirements. This information models what's in the syllabus and also builds upon that. So you'll see when we get to the action research question that a lot of this information isn't in the syllabus. These are specific prompts and directions and guidance, as well as an example in this particular part of the organizer to help you complete your action research question and developing that question. You'll also see prompts and additional specific guidance in the literature analysis phase and the program evaluation tool development as well. In this part particularly, it's broken down by these different subheaders where you go question by question. You'll build out the text of the question and the response items for that question, any additional conditional follow-up questions that you might want to include, and we'll talk all about this in significant detail in a few weeks during this semester. We see here we have assignment 2.4, which is your analysis of results. And just like in section 2.3, it goes question by question. So those 12 questions and any additional questions that you've created, you'll analyze them here following the prompt. So it's a pretty simple process of follow the prompt, answer the prompt, and put those prompts together into a final deliverable. If you're doing a group comparison, which we'll talk about in great detail in a few weeks, then you'll be using this additional space here to provide some of your results and responses for that comparison. And then you have an integrated analysis table where you'll be talking about your major findings and following the prompts provided. And the last part of the organizer, which is assignment 2.5, your recommendations to improve practices based upon your key themes and your data. So right now, don't worry too much about these individual sections. Other than that, we want to be familiar with the different parts that are going to happen within the organizer, which are these 5, and that your transition action brief and your survey itself in Qualtrics will happen outside of the document. So we have a few technology requirements that we'll need to meet this semester in order to be successful. You're going to need a computer with the following programs downloaded, and these can be obtained through GW for free or online as a trial or for free. The first is Zoom video conferencing, and you're going to need to sign up for a free account with your GW email address online. You can follow the link in the syllabus to do that. You're going to need to download Microsoft 360, and you can get that for free, all the programs within the Microsoft 360 suite there for free through GW. So you'll just click on that link in the syllabus and go through those directions that GW provides in order to do that. And you also need to download SPSS 25, which is a trial version. And don't download this program until I announce in the class. It's a 14-day trial, and that'll give you plenty of time to conduct your quantitative analysis for the course. But if you get the trial beforehand, by the time we get to your analysis phase, you won't have the program anymore to do that. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get that program for you in its full version. You're only going to be able to get the trial version. In terms of grading, this is going to follow a 100-point scale here. So 85 of those points are going to be gained through completing your action research portfolio. And then the rest of the points are going to be through your coffee talk each week. So as you can see, the coffee talk is a really easy way to get an A, but also a really easy way to lose a lot of points. So you're going to make sure that each week that we have a coffee talk for those 7 times that we have it across the semester, that you take the time to provide those 2 comments, constructive feedback, and then to respond to the feedback that you get. Because it's really easy to go from a B to an A by not participating in the coffee talk. In terms of our meetings together, we're going to have both face-to-face one-on-one sessions and face-to-face whole group sessions. So our first virtual class session as a whole group is going to be at 7:30 to about 8:15, so 45 minutes or so, on the 13th, which is Monday, the 13th of January. We're then going to have one-on-one virtual sessions the week of the 24th, and we will schedule times individually, one-on-one together, that meet both of our schedules. We're then going to have a virtual class session together as kind of a checkpoint through the semester, and that's going to be on the 30th. Then we'll follow that up a couple weeks later with one-on-one sessions again, and we'll schedule those times individually with each other. We'll do that through email. And then our final meeting together will be on the 27th of April, and that'll be our presentation meeting where you will share with your classmates about your research study throughout this entire semester. So this semester we're going to start off by talking about the foundations of action research and secondary transition, so what it is and how to do it. We'll then move on to week by week going through these different components of our research studies. So we'll work on our practice vignette, making our research questions. We'll talk about evidence-based practices along the way. And then we'll move on to analyzing literature and developing our program evaluation tools. We'll talk a little bit, almost like a crash course of mixed methods design. So we're going to talk about the type of design we're using this semester. And then we'll move into developing our metrics and our tools more specifically, and we'll talk about how to transfer that information into Qualtrics. We'll have along the way some virtual one-on-one sessions and some workshop weeks that you see in the syllabus as well. We'll talk about quantitative and qualitative analysis in depth around weeks 8 and 9 of the semester, right before spring break. And spring break is where you're going to be collecting your data for your study. Once we come back from spring break, we'll work on our data-driven recommendations. We'll have some more workshop weeks and virtual class sessions. And then towards the end of the semester, the primary focus is taking those data-driven recommendations and your results and building that into your transition action brief. So you'll have a few weeks to do that, where we'll meet together to discuss some of your progress. And then our final 2 weeks, we're going to have a working week where you're just focusing on getting your final deliverable ready. And then we'll come together as a whole class, as I said, and we'll discuss our problems in practice, our research questions, the evidence-based predictors that we focused on, the practices we focused on, any major themes we had, and and more importantly, the recommendations for practice that we had developed based upon our major themes and our results. Alright, so that's it for this video. You can head over to session 1 and begin working on some of that content, and you'll see in there that we've got a PowerPoint, we've got some readings and other materials for you to engage with.